Here's an example that sometimes gives students trouble, but it's not so much because it's overly difficult. I think it's more just the wording or the phrasing of the exercise. What they'll do is they'll give you two functions, one called f of x and one called g of x. And then they'll ask you to divide the two rational functions, or you might see something that looks like f of x divided by g of x. And the same thing could be true for multiplying. I just happen to, for this example, be doing dividing, but you could also have f of x times g of x. And sometimes students aren't really sure what it is exactly they're supposed to be doing here. Really, it's quite simple. This is f of x, right? And this is g of x. So when they say divide these two guys, or f of x over g of x, or you might see f of x possibly divided by g of x, maybe it's written this way. Either way, you just want to take the 2 over x plus 3, divide it by x plus 1 over x squared minus 9. So we'll actually just write that out, and it really has very little to do with the actual letters f and g per se. So we'll have 2 over x minus 3, and we'll write it this way because this is probably the way we're more accustomed to seeing it, divided by x plus 1 over x squared minus 9. All right, now once we have it in this format, we're pretty comfortable with finishing it out from here. We know, for example, that you're supposed to multiply by the reciprocal of the divisor instead of doing a division problem. So we'll have 2 over x minus 3, and this is the same as multiplying by x squared minus 9 divided by x plus 1. And it doesn't really matter when you factor everything. Some people prefer to factor back here before they really do anything, like the x squared minus 9, or you can factor it here. It doesn't really matter. I'll just go ahead and do it now. The x squared minus 9 would actually factor as x plus 3 times x minus 3. Okay, and to do this product here of these two rational expressions, I'm simply going to multiply the numerators together and denominators together after I see if there's any common factors that can cancel. I actually do have some, actually. Let's see here. Here's an x minus 3, and here's an x minus 3, so I can go ahead and cancel those. And then, so for a final answer, we would have a 2 in the numerator. We would have an x plus 3 divided by x plus 1. All right, so there we go. So that would be our final answer there. So don't let it throw you off if it says f of x divided by g of x or times g of x. All they want you to do is just take the two expressions that f and g are equal to and divide or multiply or whatever you need to do to both of those guys.